Great to have your company on Kalkine TV. I'm James and you're watching the early trades. The Australian share market has clawed back some of its losses from Friday, rising at the opening on Monday. The S&P ASX 200 index rose by 0.8%, with Elders leading the gains, rising 9.1% after reporting its earnings for the full year, which were likely to be ahead of market expectations. Polynovo advanced 3.6% and Incitec Pivot added 3.1%. Meanwhile, Magellan has fallen to a fresh 7-year low after reporting net outflows of $5 billion since February 25. Paladin Energy has also fallen by 4.6%, while Block has dropped 3.4%. Let's now take a look at some of the newsmakers from today. And the soaring price of nickel has delayed the acquisition of Western Areas by IGO, as Western Areas considers the implications, if any, on nickel market fundamentals and expectations for medium to long-term nickel prices. The price of nickel soared to US $100,000 a tonne on the London Metal Exchange last week before trading was paused. Western Areas and the independent expert were considering what implications this would have for price forecasts, which is set to delay the takeover deal by up to a month. Perpetual also used the extreme sell-off in auto parts supplier Bapcor around the time its chief executive redesigned to build a position in the company in December, predicated on the belief its quality is not linked to any individual. Perpetual Equity Investment Company returned 1.5% in February, under the benchmark by 0.6 percentage points, and 19.2% over the past year, above the benchmark by 8.9 percentage points. As for Westgold Resources, they've completed a $100 million new placement to new and existing investors. The capital raising was done at $2.10 a share, representing a 13.9% discount to its Wednesday closing price, with 48 million new shares being issued. The capital will be used to accelerate its Murchison and Biro growth opportunities, fund pathways to targeted 400,000 plus ounces per annum from financial year 2024. In other news, Elders says that it expects its underlying EBIT for the 2022 financial year to be 20 to 30% above its 2021 levels. The company says the outlook is ahead of market expectations, calculated from the midpoint of the earnings expectations of sell-side analysts covering the company. In other news, Virtus Health has accepted a $706 million bid from CapVest, entering into a transaction implementation deed and beating out a rival bid from BGH Capital. The offer is worth $8.25 a share, less the value of any dividends or distributions declared or paid after today, including the 12-cent a share dividend declared on February 22. The company has also made a simultaneous off-market takeover offer, conditional on the scheme failing, and a 50.1% minimum acceptance condition worth $8.10 per share of the permitted distributions. Moving on, and Mineral Resources has snapped up a 5% stake in Global Lithium Resources as part of the Explorer's $29.9 million capital raising. Mineral Resources committed to invest $13.6 million as part of the capital raising, which will help to underpin the acceleration of its exploration programs and associated study work at the company's Marble Bar Lithium project in the Pilbara and the Mana Lithium project as well. And lastly, Magellan Financial Group suffered a further $5 billion loss in net outflows since February 25, of which $4.7 billion are institutional mandates. The homegrown global equities manager has $69.1 billion under management as of Feb 11. At its last update ruled off on February 23, Magellan oversaw $77.2 billion. Some of the difference, however, is attributable to market movements. All right, well, that's all for now. Keep it locked on Kalkine TV for the latest market updates and business news. I'm James, signing off for now.